A group of students that are such boys that they wanted to play field hockey. If you didn't want them playing with the girls and they wanted to do it, we'd have to come up with another team.
Well, they don't have a male field hockey program in the state, right, at the NHL level.
So we'd be on the
So the
cutting
rules would
edge.
be like this, so because we have had girls play, we do have a girl right now playing high school football.
Okay.
All right, and we also have had girls participate on our ice hockey team for boys, almost every year. And the rules state that they can if there's not a one for them. It doesn't work the other way though. So, for example, if there are schools that don't have girls soccer, like Winnisquam, I believe, does not have girls soccer, you'll see girls on their boys team. If that was reversed and they had a girls team but no boys team, the boys would not be allowed to go on the girls team because of the gender issue that Chris is kind of referring to, the dominance. So,
Would that be true in field hockey? If a boy wanted to play field hockey, he wouldn't be allowed to?
would not be allowed to.
Does it have to be
Anything else on this policy or any other one?
So this is going back to policy with the conversation.
Policy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I guess where I want to go is, it's in section F, where it is each student will be provided with a private teaching area. In F, that, I guess I had talked around the suggestion, but not the actual suggestion. But then any is changed to each, and then need or desire for privacy is scratched, regardless of the online reason is scratched, and just says will be provided with, and then reasonable alternative becomes private changing area. And such as the use of a private area gets scratched out.
I like that.
That was my actual change. So
Can you say that
Say
again?
that again.
So any becomes each, and then who has a desire or who has a need or desire for increased privacy regardless of the underlying reason becomes scratched out. And then will be provided with a reasonable alternative changing area turns into private changing area. Such as use, and then such as the use of a private area also gets scratched out. And then just start looking at EP, I guess, turns, scratch out immediately by restroom stall, and that turns into an area separated by a curtain. And then, I guess, scratch out the rest. Or, so, you know, whatever, something like reasonably
Curtain
private.
or door.
Yeah, yeah, or door. But something that's a reasonably private area. You know, and then a staff member will be present to make sure there's no locker room violations. Because it came up a couple times, but I think for me, this is a solution that allows everyone to change privately and not be discriminated against, and also provides a measure of safety. So, that's all I got. That's the actual policy change that.
The bid policy,
Yes,
they're really big and cumbersome,
it's huge.
but, just the only thing I commented on in circle was the dollar limits that we put, the policy committee put in. They lowered the $250,000 trigger for a sealed bid down to $7,500. I was curious what Scott, I don't know, I'm still digging.
You're talking about the bidding?
Yeah.
Page 10 of 27 on sealed bids.
Yeah.
Chris, to speak to that, we did that just for consistency throughout the policy.
And it's consistency with DJE, our bidding requirements policy.
Right.
I'm just curious what Scott's input is on that, because he deals with the bids.
I wasn't part of this one. One of the concerns that I have with dropping that is it does have a cost analysis requirement with this. So I think when the feds put this together, they're looking at $250,000 looking at a big part of the project. I'll use like the IDA grant. In that we have like core and some other services that may be around 7,500 or more. What this would require then is, as the project manager goes to this, they would have to do a cost analysis to see if that low bidder is equitable. So it really raises the bar and adds a lot of items. So I understand what you're saying about we're just making consistent with the other policy. I believe it's going to put a lot of other requirements in, I was with handicaps on it, but difficulties with that because you're looking at a $250,000 building project. Where would you want to look at is what does the contract do? Is that fair and equitable? And do a cash analysis. This will really lower that bar. So 250.
Can you get involved in that policy and those, and offer some guidance to the way we've been doing things the last few years?
This one I can live with. It's a challenge because if you see it, it goes back to the CFR, the requirement on that. So,
Sorry.
yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, it's.
What's the CFR?
Okay. So those are the federal requirements. So it refers back to the whole analysis that you have to do with that. Yeah. Yes, I don't want to just change a big number down to little and create a complete
Problems for us.
massive problems every time we go to spend a little bit of money. That's all. So maybe for the next policy committee, you could be either be there or offer some guidance on this particular one. It's right up your wheelhouse. All right. Do we have any other input on these policies before we move on? Okay. Hearing none, I'm going to try to keep the principal's reports on elementary and middle fairly brief. So Danielle, any high points you want to just point out, or changes, or?
Nope.
How about questions from the board? Peter? I had nothing circled or anything. Okay, so thank you. Peter, you usually have something you want to add to your written report?
You can do it, Peter, no?
Well, as,
I'll defer my time to him.
I'm surprised, I think the biggest, I have, at the end of the summer Math Academy data. I want to thank Lori Hamp for putting that together for me. But also, we have, 18 doesn't seem like a lot, it's a big picture, but we have a lot more students this year than last year. Every grade level is 80 or above, which I haven't had, since I've been there. So, a balloon of kids coming to middle school.
I had a question on the math data. This new summer academy, is this consistent with past years? Not as far as performance is what I mean.
I would say this year it's a little bit lower.
Seems like it.
And part of the reason is that, well, if you go down to the attendance is a little bit lower. We had 77 kids sign up, but which is about average. We've had 90 before, we've had 50 before. But I think the actual number of sessions that they've attended has dipped. So some come once a week, twice a week, and the data is there. A quarter of the kids came less than 5 times also.
What do you attribute the lower participation to? Is it still being marketed the same way?
Yeah, it's not much different than athletics, where kids are busy. Kids are there's a lot going on, and, even at the school, we have the theater camp that is growing, robotics camp is growing, there are so a lot more options for kids, too, and just like with sports, that tends to sometimes, I mean, still, 77 enrollments is good, it's just the actual attendance, and it's not compulsory, so, you don't have to tell.
Right. Okay. Any other questions for Peter? Okay, that brings us to our second public comment. We'll have the same rules as the first time around. Anyone care to speak for, if there's any first-time speakers, I'd like to have them first. Any public comment at all? Sir.
I'm Matthew Wood. I'm at 50 Ridgewood Ave in Gilford. So I have a couple questions for you based on your rules before, Chris. Simple questions that you should be able to answer. So at this point, there is not a policy being put in place in regards to the bathroom, correct?
There's not a policy. We do have a practice that was emailed out to the schools.
And was there,
Community.
and is that the same practice that was in 2017, 2018 school year?
It was the same practice in our schools, certainly in the middle and high school.
Because the email that Kurtz had sent out on August 30th, 2019 at 1:09 p.m. would suggest that there was a change in the policy. And it would, yeah, is it not fair to take it as that is a policy change?
Again,
Is the general public, is it bother?
just not to the split hairs, but we have to stop calling it a policy, because policy has to go through our policy committee and be approved as a policy, which is something we're working on right now.
So I guess,
So what he sent out was, the practice will be that we will allow a transgender student to use the bathroom with which they identify.
to me, that comes off as a policy change. And my understanding is, looking through the website, there was no vote on it, there were no minutes. So I guess I'm asking for the board to vote to either reaffirm the current position or to retract it at this time until a formal policy can be made that's fair and just for everyone.
We have a motion?
So a motion to retract the current practice until we establish a normal policy.
That's what the gentleman asked for.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Which one?
Well, I'm gonna make a motion to retract the current practice until we've established a policy as a board.
Could you just restate?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion to retract the practice until we've established a policy as a board. Just so that we can make sure we've all discussed it and we're sure it's fair and equitable.
It's not what public comment's about.
Well, I don't have a second yet.
I'll second it just so we can have a discussion. If we did that, then if you're saying was not a change in policy, so if we do that, then what happens?
We've had other students, is my understanding, in our schools who identify as transgender using bathrooms, probably single-stall bathrooms. It would change the meaning of that letter that was sent out.
So it would be a change,
So we did have that meeting, and we did discuss this issue, which is what the letter was based on. That was a meeting that, Gilmington, that was that early emergency 7 a.m. meeting that we had. So it was discussed as to what we had, because we did not have a policy, and we probably weren't going to have a policy for a little bit, so we needed to be able to do something. So that's how that letter came about.
And
There was a vote. I was not on that meeting.
There was a vote 4-0 to approve what was sent out in the email, and there should be minutes for that somewhere.
Can it always be posted to the website? I'm just asking that no change. It's not a favor for a policy change or not for a policy change. It's just if we're going to take the time to put a policy in place, why are we changing anything that the school is doing until the board is given a fair review?
So I'm gonna, based on that discussion, being that the board did it and had a vote at the meeting that I missed, I'm gonna withdraw my motion to respect what the board did previously, because I know I had been at the meeting and I voted on another decision and we wanted to have respected. So I'm gonna withdraw my motion to respect what the board did previously. Let us make a policy on the discussion we're having now, and then vote again on whatever the second meeting is, or revise the policy. I think that's fair. I could have
retracted.
I could have just, yeah, I could have done that at the early meeting, but I think that was it. Sorry.
Mr. Wood, any further?
No, go ahead.
Thank you.
Croc TV.